I think I man up and talk loud enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, like she said, my name's Keith Barton. So I got in this race because you all were ignored. And my background is extremely unique. And it matches exactly what you all need. Okay, so I grew up on a farm in Alaska, riding and racing horses, even hunting on horseback. And I'll tell you what, packing out a moose with a horse is a heck of a lot easier than on your back. Okay, so I'm pretty cowboy, but I also understand oil and gas, right? Alaska. So I like to tell people how I grew up is just West Texas, just colder with a lot bigger animals. Okay, all right. So I understand exactly what you're going through. Then I joined the Marine Corps. I spent 20 years in the United States Marine Corps as enlisted and officer. So I was a recon Marine, then I became a Huey pilot. So I went to flight school, right? That's two very, very hard schools. Then when I stopped flying, I became a logistics officer, and that's really what's going to affect your guys' district. And I was also a foreign advisor to the Afghan National Army. My last tour my last job in the Marine Corps was at the Marine Wing Headquarters Squadron, and I was the logistics operations officer. So I was coordinating with 33 units across the country. See how that's really familiar to District 23? Right? So I got out 8 years ago. My first job, I opened a 2.6 million square foot distribution center with 1,100 employees as one of the senior leaders. And then I took another job as what's called a site manager, and my team ran 24-hour operations 7 days a week supporting Airbus. So I had inventories in the hundreds of millions of dollars, 179 employees all reporting direct to me. So when I say I have a unique background, I think you see what I mean, right? So I've been in a leadership position, legitimate leadership position for over 25 years. And that's why I ran, ladies and gentlemen. And that's exactly what you need, because your district has logistical problems. Your congressman needs to be less focused on the ideology at DC and more focused on you. You will not get a lot of money. We watch Tony get you money, and then where does it go? Anybody know? Because I know that every time we kind of see where it goes the wrong damn place, and nothing gets fixed. Okay? So I have 25 priorities right now for when I go to office. Only one is national. The other 24 are your district, and they're all interconnected. Okay, so let's talk. I'll give you an example. You're gonna think I have something growing out of my forehead, but West Texas does not have a water shortage problem. You have a water leakage problem. It's the highest in the country. It's 30%. Rest of the country, you get 10%, fire alarms go off, right? We're fixing some things. What did Tony do? Put hundreds of billions of dollars to put more water in your system instead of fixing pipes. Because he's not an operator. Because he's not a leader. So I'm going to reallocate those funds immediately. We're going to start fixing some pipes, okay? Why did those leak? If you don't know, West Texas has shifting ground. And those pipes are old. Shoot, you can go over into Maverick County even. They have open air aquifers still. Open concrete, just evaporating and leaking everywhere. That's the problem with our district. It isn't who can say the loudest on constitutional rights and whatnot. I get all that, I'm the same. But that's not what you need. It's not. So let's talk about El Paso. Anybody heard of Port to Plains? Port to Plains, this is the logistics network that is going to expand West Texas extremely. One of the key parts to it, though, is we have to open up the throughput in the border for product. That's where the start of the product is. You can't move product, you can't move resources without having a logistics network. So Port to Plains was completely supported by our governor, both of our senators, numerous congressmen. It's about $23 billion short right now. Tony put $5 million into Eagle Pass. That's it. That's all he supported. It's one reason why you haven't grown. All right. So we open up the throughput through the border, and then that goes into my energy plan, and we start getting more energy going down that same pipe, going up north, selling, and we build District 23 from the bottom. And the beauty of doing it this way is it's not going to affect your farmland. It's not going to affect your ranchers because it's energy. It's natural resources, and you get to keep your way of life. And that's important while building up vocational training. paid for, not by federal government, but by energy companies, right? What does that do? Bring up your average income, bring up your education, everything comes up. Property taxes can start coming down. More income tax goes up for the area, right? It's a cause and effect issue. And if you don't go to Congress with a plan for your district, a legitimate plan, right? Not just talking, this is how I feel or whatever. What can you actually do as a congressman to do this stuff? Because guess what? Most people go to Congress, they have no clue what their power actually is because they never even looked it up. They didn't go with a plan. They pulled on your heartstrings to get there instead of telling you exactly what they're going to do. So I'll give you one more thing that I'm going to do for you all. You being a logistics expert, being a logistician, you are perfect for another distribution center. What does a distribution center give you? So in general, depends on the size, you're going to see anywhere between 800 and 1,100 employees. That spurs another 3,000 to 5,000 other jobs, right? So we fix the throughput. Now, could I ever dictate what company comes here? Absolutely not. There's permitting, there's understanding. And why you guys are perfect, we open up the throughput on the border. You have major railways, you have major highways. This is a perfect start of Port to Plains, right? So we open that up. Now, my thought process, if we start talking to some of the biggest companies, you probably most likely see a Walmart grocery, which would be fine, right? So there's 800 employees, starting wage, roughly $16 to $17 an hour, constant pay raises. You can see how much that just goes up. There are people in a Walmart grocery distribution center that make $110,000 a year. Why? Because of how they pay. Can you imagine what that'd do for you? You'd suddenly have high school kids making six figures. Just because they go work hard. Amazing, right? Now people ask me about HEB. I already figured this one out too. Here's why HEB is not here. And that is logistics. It's absolutely logistics, okay? That's why the furthest west they are is the Permian Basin, okay? But that's, again, we open up the product throughput on the border, and then their other issue is permitting for what's called a 3PL, third-party logistics. That's what they need, because they'll never build a distribution center here until they build a bunch of stores. So I'm gonna open it up, help them. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll try, right? If you don't try, you can't ever get a yes. So I know you all want that wonderful Texas company, and I'm gonna work on that too. Okay, so this is when I say, when I have 24 plans, they are all integrated and they're all tied together. Now, I only wanna do 6 years. So I'm not gonna get it all done in 6 years, but I'm gonna get it all started to where it won't stop. That's the point. Because I only did it for you all, and then I'm going home, because frankly, 26 years of federal service is more than enough, right? God bless. I never thought I'd go back, but I looked at it, ladies and gentlemen, it was bad. And then I guess the last thing before I take questions, I really want to tell you, here's my heartstring one, okay? And this is the personal reason why I ran, and it's the national bill, okay? Sometimes it's hard to talk about. Charlie Kirk, the great Charlie Kirk said, how do we fix this country? We fix the families, right? But he never had the lever. This 4-page bill is the lever. And it's fixing child custody court. Okay? Why has this failed? Every time somebody goes after child custody court reform, their attorneys, no offense, Kiko, but they try to change state law. When they try to change state law, they violate the 10th Amendment. So, anybody know what Title IV defunding is? I know, most people don't. It's the funding that destroyed the American family. It's been here for 50 years. It was originally done to support the child support networks around the country. So it's literally price matching from the federal government. Right now it's at 66% for how much a state collects in child support. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. The federal government has incentivized the country to break up families. Shocking, right? Now, every state around the country already has gender-neutral rules, laws, and 50-50 custody laws. All we have to do is reallocate that funds back to the closer you get to this, that's when you'll get your money. Because the laws are already there. So are we changing the state law? Nope. Are we telling the judges how to rule? Nope. 4 pages. I put it around to numerous judges. I put it around to child advocacy groups. And I've literally had one say, we've never thought about doing it like this. This is unbeatable. That's why you got to get me to Congress, ladies and gentlemen. This will fix the country. Because what does this do? Lowers mental health issues in children, raises income level, raises education, lowers crime, lowers domestic violence. And here's a perfect one. Kentucky's the closest 50-50 custody. They've seen a 25% drop in divorce rate. That's it. 4 pages, ladies and gentlemen. Not an 800-page bill. That's how all my bills will be. Targeted. Root cause. Second, third, fourth order effects. That bill would also save us hundreds of billions of dollars every 10 years. So you have lower litigation time. You'd have less appeals. Judges would have to actually show their work, and a parent will actually walk out of the courtroom and know why a judge screwed up their life. Amazing. So, why this is so hard for me is I did this on my own in the court system as a pro se dad. And it took me hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I won through appeal. That's how I learned this. Unsatisfactory. So, let's get back to more fun stuff. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I know, right? What kind of questions do we have? All right, I want to know what you really want me to do. Yes, sir.
On your 24-point plan, what barriers do you encounter? What kind of barriers are you expecting to encounter?
Well, let's just take water. Water boards are going to be a barrier, right? But that's where congressional oversight comes in, right? And one thing that congressmen, I think, fail to do a lot is they worry too much on signing bills instead of getting people in a room. There's a lever there, ladies and gentlemen, that people don't use. When the congressman calls, people suddenly start getting in a room, right? And so the other thing is, that means they're also not following the dollar down far enough, right? So with the water board is a perfect example, right? So if I'm giving them money to specifically fix certain pipes, certain major leaks, and I'm not following it, then they can go spend it wherever the heck they want, right? That's why your congressman should be more focused on your district instead of the crap at DC. Right? I get it. You know, I'm a 2A guy too. I'm a 1, I'm 10, 4. I love it all. I'm going to vote that way. But really, is that the main issues we're having? No, it's not.
Where are you home based out of?
San Antonio.
You're outside.
I'm in Helotes too. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. So yeah, actually, you know what? That I know exactly where you're going with that. My goal is to, and I've already worked it out. I am co-endorsed with Adam Bauman. I don't know, you guys like Adam? He is going to, so he's running for 16. If he gets in, he's going to host 2 of my staff at his office, right here in El Paso. Let's spread my staff thin. So my idea is, think about back in the day when we connected the railroads, right? Across the U.S. I'm going to do the same thing, El Paso to San Antonio. It's the only way, right? How much have you been ignored for the last 6 years? Right?
Constantly.
Yeah. I also made a promise online, on an interview, that if I come speak to a government official, I'm asking them to schedule a speaking event for constituents too, every single time. Not for me to talk, but for me to listen. Every time. I'm not ever gonna hide. Not once.
What do you currently do? How are you able to do this? You're young.
I'm a lot older than I look. I run 2 branches for the great company of Holt Caterpillar in Texas First Rentals. I own my own drone business. And at 45.
Drone business?
Yeah, okay. Yes ma'am. I'm a total nerd. Total nerd. And then my wife and I, we decided to have a baby at 45. She was on purpose, IVF. So she's 2 now, yeah. So I don't sleep. That's really the question. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. I actually think my schedule will slow down in Congress than what it is right now. Yeah.
So you are a 2A guy.
Of course, I grew up in Alaska with a loaded 12-gauge shotgun on my back porch.
Glad, I'm glad you said that. So how did you end up in Texas?
So my wife is actually a foreign national from Venezuela, and she got her doctorates here. So she came to this country not speaking a word of English, earned 3 degrees in psychology, and is now a board certified doctor in the Air Force. And there was a compromise. I came here for ground recon school. Second hardest school I ever did. It's right here, was right in San Antonio, and yeah, Alaska's just too cold for us, so this became our forever home. It matched both of us, so yeah, that's it. And so this is our last duty station, and we're done.
So you're married to an immigrant, and so let's lead into that. What are everything that's going on right now? Talk to us about your feelings about that.
I'm 100% against illegal immigration and 100% for legal immigration. Being a logistician, you know what our issue with legal immigration is? Technology. It's just technology, ladies and gentlemen. Vetting faster. Why do we have people with master's degrees in engineering waiting 10 years to come to this country? And we're releasing cartel. Unsatisfactory. And it just takes technology. And that's part of the throughput at the border. So I'm gonna lock down the border. I'm gonna lock it down in the budget so that we don't ever have to worry about it again. Because I'm gonna look at it as a defense in depth, a military mindset. Because at this point, we're not worried. The border is less about illegal immigration, it's more about the cartels. Okay, it really is. And they're smart. So our border needs to be a defensive position. And I have the perfect background for it.
And leading into that too, and you're welcome to answer this as well. I didn't think about it when you were up here. There's a lot of controversy right now about the border wall going through Big Bend.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about
Big Bend, we need to reroute it, and I'm gonna reroute it.
reroute the
Yeah,
the
it
wall.
doesn't need to go through Big Bend itself. It can stay on the outside.
Where on the outside? I'm very familiar with Big Bend. I don't know if most people are. It's a vast,
It's vast.
huge.
It's gonna cost
area.
it's gonna cost extra money, but it's needed. We gotta protect it. So the actual details, no, it's just, I know that I mapped it out and we'll be all right. It's just gonna take some more funds,
So you do support that putting the wall through the Big Bend area,
just on the edge.
all the way.
Well, either it's gonna be a man-made barrier or it's gonna be a natural-made barrier, but it has to be. It has to be. Like, we have to let go a little bit sometimes. The cartels are smart. We have to. We're still protecting the natural area, but you gotta stop that, because they're not gonna stop coming, right? And you know what, here's a perfect example, actually, and here's my drone nerd, okay? When your guys' airport shut down.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so immediately Tony went to UTEP. UTEP's doing it wrong. So I've talked to Border Control a lot. Border Control wants 3 things for anti-drone. They want high-rate rubber bullets, drone nets, and lasers. And why do they want that? Because they want to expand their own drone network. What UTEP is doing would affect all drones in the area and possibly even aircraft. As a pilot, yeah, that's not fun, okay? So actually, I was supposed to have a meeting with UTEP. Tony blocked me.
And enlighten us. I'm not familiar. What is UTEP doing?
So they have an anti-drone program, and the biggest drone company in the world is a company called DJI, okay? And what they are doing is anti-radio signal threats. Here's the problem. The radio bandwidth that they're going after is what's called the DJI O2 transmission system, which is used on drones that they don't even support anymore. So even doing that, they're already 10 years behind. They have no clue what they're doing. And what would that affect drone? That would affect our border control too, because then they can't launch their own stuff. They told Tony exactly what they needed, and they haven't gotten it.
Who told Tony?
The border control.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. I already told you the 3 things that they need, and they've been asking for years. And it's cheaper, faster deployable, actually effective.
So since you've been here, is this your first visit to the area, or have you been here earlier?
Last time I was in El Paso, I was flying over your mountains, strong headwind in my Huey. I was 110 knots indicated airspeed and about 55 knots
English.
So essentially, I was facing so much wind, I was like stopped, and we almost ran out of fuel. And I had to declare an emergency. So that's the last time I was here in El Paso. But we made it down. It was all right. I hit my fuel light when I got into the pattern, and we got down. But yeah, I've been through El Paso numerous times. I've flown all over.
But actually coming in and talking to people and visiting.
I've
us
been here
and seeing
since Thursday.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
So just establishing that. Have you visited our border, seen everything along?
I visited the border down in the Del Rio area, and that's one of my things today. We're just waiting for a final time.
Okay.
Right. So I've already talked to Border Patrol. This one's actually point of entry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So far, every Border Patrol agent I've talked to, especially leaders, they've loved my plan. So, because they're underfunded, they get Marine Corps hand-downs, which are already Army hand-downs. So.
And same question, and it's just something that, and I know you say to be 2A, what about red flag laws?
Of
Where
course
do you
not.
stand on red?
Of course not. Shall not be infringed. That's all we have to say about that, and we can move on. Shall not be infringed.
If there was a vote, like let's say you were a congressman a couple years back when they were voting for speaker, do you see yourself as somebody who may have voted for either Speaker Mike Johnson or Jim Jordan?
I don't know, actually. I make that decision when it comes up again.
Sure.
But my focus is forward.
Any
So-
thoughts of the dynamics of who you would choose for Speaker of the House?
Well,
Okay.
will come when that comes.
I mean, it would really play into if you could have voted on any of the other things you want, right?
Sure,
Okay.
sure. But that's not the focus. Focus is right now is actually having legitimate plans. Legitimate plans that a congressman can actually do.
Okay.
Why am I gonna worry about national shit all the time? It's not, if every congressman actually treated our budget like a damn business, we wouldn't be in this problem. If we kept focusing on all those main issues, we wouldn't be in this problem because they'd actually be focusing on their district. And we build everyone up from the bottom up. All right, so here's some math. This is why I get so upset about this. Congressman spends 12% of their time traveling. They spend 5% on what you usually vote on. What he's talking about. Big bills, ideology. They spend 65% of their time on operational needs. So why do we keep voting for the 5% instead of the 65%?
It's a 4-page bill. It sounds like a good idea that should get a vote. There's a ton of bills that are good ideas that don't get a vote unless they're in the big bills. And so who we choose for speaker matters because they have such a huge impact on the rules of the House and what congressmen vote on.
And why doesn't that work usually?
Because people choose the wrong speakers sometimes.
Or their bills aren't root cause.
Or what?
Are not root cause. They're not targeted. You have to target a bill
Okay.
at exactly what the root cause is. Then what does it become? Bipartisan. Because it's unbeatable.
Can happen, yeah.
Some of the most important bills this country has ever signed were short like that because they were targeted. 800 bills is what destroys it. Putting them together is what destroys it.
Sure,
Every one of my
yeah.
bills actually has it. This bill already has in it. You are not allowed to add anything to this.
Correct, yeah.
That's why. Because that's a business operational mindset.
Sorry, he needed the bathroom code, so I was doing sign language for him.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If you get elected, and this is for you as well, I'm more focused on how it affects us here in El Paso.
Exactly.
You know, right now you guys are saying, you know, what part of El Paso is in your district? Well, my side of town is, I mean, far northeast, you know, Mesquite Hills area. And, which is kind of weird that I'm so far out there away from, you know, Clinton and Socorro and everything, but over there, you know, well, we're over there. Now, my issue is, I also worked with a lot of veteran organizations when, you know, for some time, and a lot of our issues, we always have to deal with Democrats. You know, like, not that it's a bad thing, it's just that
Oh, it's a
that's
bad
what El
thing.
Paso
We can
is.
get past that.
You know, that's what El Paso is. So my question really is, in order to affect us or help us here, how are you planning to work with Escobar? Because she's got a, you know,
I
concrete
know.
grip on El
I know.
Paso, and on everything that happens around here. And, you know, I've dealt with, you know, law enforcement, you know, how they need a lot more training, some judges that are already predetermined before they even get to your case.
Correct.
You know, so, and while, let's say the president of the club that I was with, he's a diehard Republican, but he's a registered Democrat.
Yeah, it happens.
And the reason he does that is because they have to listen to him, and he's
Right.
able to pull strings and do more stuff for them, and they would come to us in the background and try and get us to help them get the veteran vote.
I think
So-
I think she's vulnerable too right now. First off,
Well, I mean, nobody likes. I've never liked her. I told her
I
to
know.
her face too. You know,
I know.
when she first
But
ran.
she is definitely vulnerable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so there's the first start. Second is, I'll never work with a Democrat on some stupid ideology thing. I don't care, but I'll work with them all day on a root cause because I'm gonna focus. It's gonna be the same issues they got: security, water, infrastructure, economics, energy. It's all the same stuff, right? That's how you work with the other side, is you get them out of their comfort zone and go back to what the people actually need. And you force that conversation by being a leader. Just don't give up. And I'm a jarhead, I'm stubborn as hell.
And you, sir?
Anybody else have any other questions? I know he's got
Can I
a.
ask you, what's your stance on this Sharia law thing, you know, going on there?
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Not allowed. All right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I mean, I worked with the Afghan, when I said I was an advisor to the Afghan National Army, that means 6 out of 7 days a week, I was with them. Most of the time without body armor, because you have to develop trust, right? And then we go outside the wire with them. I saw what that is like. And it's misogynistic. They treat their women and their children like crap. I saw some very nasty things that they would do to boys. It's unacceptable. Okay, so the original part of the Quran, was that peaceful? Absolutely, and that's what they live on, to pull people's heartstrings. Muhammad after, it's all violence. It's not acceptable. It's okay for freedom of religion, I'll still protect that. But it can never dominate. It will destroy the world.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You're fine.
But you get fired up, Kiko? Come on, man. You wanna come back up here? Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so just last word, if you want to read more about me, it's bartonfortexas.com. You know you have until the 3rd to vote, right? That's the election, right? March 3rd is the election. That's it. So choose wisely, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Thank you.
Best of luck.